Hey everyone, welcome back to Wimpy Studio, and I'm back with another episode of the Wimpy Studio News and Reviews podcast. Today we have several trailers slash first looks to cover. We have Zootopia 2, we have Frankenstein, and of course we have Stranger Things Season 5. So, and then there's some other stuff thrown in there with Netflix's TUDUM that happened this past Saturday, and at the end I'm going to be talking about Karate Kid Legends, which came out in theaters this past weekend. So, for starters, sorry I didn't get an episode out last week. It was my graduation and my graduation party, and I just could not get an episode out. But from now on, these are going to come out Mondays, because Sunday I have this other project that I do, and then Monday is going to be this. So that's going to kind of be my plan moving forward, because I feel like usually big stuff with the show industry does not happen on Sundays. So I feel like it's a good time, honestly, to on Mondays to like recollect everything from the past. And even if something does come out Sundays, I can still review it Monday. So that's kind of my plan here. So, starting off with Zootopia 2. So this is a long-awaited sequel, I would say. It came out in 2016, so about a 9-year time period, or a 9-year difference between release time. I'm looking forward to Zootopia 2. However, this teaser was a bit boring, not gonna lie. I mean, most of the stuff was just showing off the characters against this white frame, and I'm like, okay, is this just us seeing the characters, or are we actually seeing like a lot like this montage in the movie? My guess is this is just like us seeing the characters, so we see what they look like now. Really, they haven't changed all that much, and then we do see a few new scenes of footage with Judy Hopps, Nick Slick, and the Snake. The Snake's a new character, but they're all going against like this bad guy. It looks like they're doing adventures, all this. I mean, it looks pretty similar to the original one. However, I still feel like the original one was a bit more grounded. Like they pretty much stayed in that central location wherever they were at in that town. So this second one seems to be adventuring out a lot. So as long as they can still keep it somewhat grounded and still have that banter between them, I'm going to be fine with it. I'm sure it's going to be a great movie. It comes out November 26th, which is funny because another show and we'll be talking about releases then as well. But that's the day before Thanksgiving. So that's perfect because I'll be home that weekend. So I'm sure I'll be going to see it probably that weekend. So they did the same thing with Moana 2 last year, and I didn't love Moana 2, but it still did really good at the box office, and a lot of people did like it, so I think they're kind of following that trend, and I'm sure Zootopia 2 is going to do the same. I don't know if it's as popular as Moana. It probably isn't, but I know a lot of people that are fans of Zootopia, so I don't think it's going to disappoint. At least I hope not. So this past Saturday was Netflix's TUDUM event. Now, Netflix just simply does not do the greatest job at marketing, so you kind of expect they do their one big thing a year, and this year it's TUDUM. So, Sophia Carson was headlining TUDUM, and she did a pretty good job overall. I mean, a bit extra at times, but I think she played the host role pretty well. There were a lot of shows to cover, so I was like, how are they going to fit all these shows into a 2-hour span? Like, it just didn't really seem possible to me. Especially with a lot of like those like shows I don't personally care about. I mean, it started off with Squid Game, and I know Squid Game's very popular, so to each their own. I'm not particularly a fan. I watched, I think, the first episode or two of season 1, and I just couldn't really get into it. So they spent a lot of time on Squid Game. One Piece was also a big one, and not gonna lie, One Piece fans, I feel kind of sorry. I mean, I guess they get to see this chopper creature in live action, but I'm like, you came all this way and you're hoping to actually see new footage, and you didn't get that, and you have to wait till 2026. I feel like they kind of did you dirty there. Like, if I'm gonna go to an event for my favorite show, say my favorite show was One Piece, I mean, sure, seeing the cast up there is maybe that's the highlight. That maybe not even the new footage, but I would like to see new footage and a confirmed release for that year instead of having to wait the following year and barely see any new footage. Well, once again, maybe the special thing about going to an event like this is seeing your favorite cast up there. And One Piece, they pretty much had like 5 or 6 people up there. They pretty much probably had almost their whole main cast up there. I know my cousin watches One Piece. He's kind of a nerd. a big fan of anime and Dungeons and Dragons and all of that. So I'm sure he was, like, looking forward to One Piece. Again, maybe I would probably give One Piece a chance over Squid Game, that's for sure. I mean, I haven't watched One Piece. Maybe I'll give it a shot. It looks kind of interesting, pirates and a little bit like Outer Banks, maybe, I don't know. Speaking of Outer Banks, there were a few shows that simply got Q&As done, because I was wondering, like, I didn't think Outer Banks started filming yet, but it said they were a part of this event, so I'm like, okay, are we going to maybe see, like, a video with them doing like a table read type thing? Like Cobra Kai did that for their final season. I was thinking they would do something like that, or just like a video with all of them together, or something like a behind the scenes costume getting ready, or maybe show off. I don't know. I think in years past though with TUDUM they've done mostly videos, where this year they have everyone there. So I think for a lot of people, they enjoy like having their favorite cast members around them, especially in the audience, like sitting at random places in the audience. But at the end of the day, I personally would rather have like a video from each show. Like if we're getting just Q&As done, the lamest Q&As ever, if that's the content I'm getting for a show where I'm paying probably a decent amount of money to go see it, I would be disappointed, because the Outer Banks stars, I mean, maybe they had probably more screen time than other shows when they were on in the audience, or whatever, wherever they were at in the building, in the room. But like they really, like, I don't know, like, I mean, of course JJ wasn't there. A lot of people were fed up over that. I didn't really care about that. My problem was that they were just there and they didn't do anything. Like, they answered maybe like one question or so, and it was just like so boring. Like, that was such a disappointment to me. And I get it. Outer Banks, it just ended last November, so it's only been like 6 months. So like, how much can you really expect to see? You kind of have to wonder. And I mean, probably that's the most they could do, is bring their cast out there. Probably they start filming in a few weeks, bring them out there, answer a few stupid fan questions. I don't know. I think they could have done better for that show, for how popular it is. But maybe it's losing its popularity, and maybe that's all we get. I don't know. There was definitely less excitement for the Outer Banks gang, and maybe that's to do with them killing JJ off. I don't know. But My Life with the Walter Boys was also there, and not gonna lie, that was a disappointment. They finished filming like 6 months ago or something, like back in November or December of last year. They finished filming then, and that's all we get is a few stupid fan questions. I mean, at least Outer Banks hadn't started filming yet. They had nothing to show. And probably My Life with the Walter Boys just isn't as popular as some of their others, so they couldn't give them a whole headline. But still, like, I would have liked to see something. Like, I don't need a lot. I just want, like, a little bit of footage for each show. Like, that's what they've done in the past. They've showed a little bit of footage for each show, or, like, a behind-the-scenes glimpse. And now they're really only doing it for their headline stuff. Maybe that was the point, and then everything else got a little smaller thing. But still, if your show had finished filming, and there's still a relatively popular base of fans here for your particular show, I think you could probably show a little bit of footage. Like, even if it's just stuff from episode 1. Like, I don't need a lot. I just want to, like, see something. Because we don't, like, it's a show that's not popular enough that there's not, like, leaks going around everywhere. I mean, it's got renewed for a season 3. So, I mean, that's a good sign for its future. But we haven't seen anything regarding season 2. Nothing. There's a rumored release date of August 21st, I want to say, but as that approaches, I feel like that's going to get less and less likely. I don't know what their plan is, because they've done at times where they've done one big show a month, and then there's also been times they just have done multiple shows a month. Like last year, I think it was, they did Outer Banks and Cobra Kai back to back, like weeks, which it was an interesting choice. They usually don't do that often, but like, for what's going on here. Ginny and Georgia comes out in June. I think that's relatively popular. That comes out actually in a few days. They were also at this TUDUM event. I don't watch that show, but my mom was excited when TUDUM, or when Ginny and Georgia popped up at TUDUM. She liked that. So at least, because I wanted my parents to watch, because they watched Nobody Wants This with Kristen Bell and whoever plays the rabbi guy, and they didn't really get anything from that show. But at least my mom got Ginny and Georgia, and my dad got WWE. and it was kind of cool to see the WWE people. It just feels so weird to see them all talking in a ring when we're used to seeing them beat the shit out of each other at events. So that was kind of like a bit jarring for me just to see them like professionally like talking with each other. I mean, sure they were still talking shit, but it was funny. But yeah, Ginny and Georgia comes out in June. I don't know about any big stuff coming out in July per se. I mean, I think the Happy Gilmore 2 movie comes out, so I guess that's a decently big thing. I don't personally care. And then what else? August is Wednesday. September is Wednesday Part 2. I don't think there's anything in October, but November and December are Stranger Things. So My Life with the Walter Boys, I think July is too soon. And plus, The Summer I Turned Pretty comes out in mid-July, and my thought was it would probably last till the end of August, because there's 11 episodes, and maybe even go into September. Hopefully not, but I thought it would be weird for them to release My Life with the Walter Boys in the middle of all of that, because, I don't know, the shows are so similar, they're basically carbon copies of each other. Maybe there's some differences. Summer I Turned Pretty is better. But I don't know. I don't know. It could come out in October maybe, or they could wait for like December, but they're going to be bunched in between Stranger Things. So my guess is they're probably going to either do the August 21st for some weird reason, or they'll do like an October release date. Whichever one. I don't really care at this point. Whatever they feel like is best for that show. I get it's a less popular show, so. But they also had Frankenstein, and it's funny because I recently read Frankenstein for AP English this past semester. I enjoyed the book. I mean, here's the thing. You need to read the Spark Notes to understand actually what's going on in this book, because it's something you had to read between the lines so much, which is probably why it's an AP book, because the whole point of AP is to, go deeper into things. Still, I think every single kid in my class used Spark Notes to figure out the plot. It's a challenging plot. It's a challenging book to read. Nonetheless, though, at the end of the day, I thought overall it had a good meaning behind it. The trailer I saw was pretty good. Like, it looked pretty good. I mean, if you're into the sci-fi type, horror type genre, fantasy a little bit, adventure, I think all of that combined, I think you would be a fan of this movie. I'm not like hyped for this movie. I think I'll watch it. I think it looks good. He has a good quote when he said, "When I was seeking life, I caused death." I thought that was a great line to end that trailer with. I'm looking forward to seeing what the creature actually looks like, so I get a good visualization. I'm looking forward to seeing Victor, and maybe maybe we'll see Elizabeth, maybe we'll see Henry. Like, I mean, I couldn't obviously tell. I would have to do more research into who plays all these characters, but of course, if I hadn't read the book, I wouldn't probably care about Frankenstein, but because I had, I'm looking forward to seeing how it all looks and plays out. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised they're not doing a theaters release. Like, they're doing it on Netflix, and I feel like for something as, maybe Frankenstein isn't as big, but I feel like a lot of people have read it. Like, it's one of those, like, everyone reads for school. You think they would just do the big, like, go put on the big screen. Like, Netflix seems so small scale for this. I don't know. They also had the third Glass Onion movie. I watched the first one, and the second one I've not seen. I need to see the second one, but maybe I'll watch the second one, and then the third one comes out in December. So I enjoyed the first one. I'm sure I would enjoy the second one too. So definitely looking forward to watching that whenever I get a chance to. I'm just so busy. There's just no time. There's so many things I want to watch, and I'm so lazy, which I know sounds weird because you think you could just sit on the couch and watch something, but I also have to clear my mind too before going into something. Like, I have so many things going on. The last thing I want is to pay half-ass attention to a show I maybe would want to enjoy. I just simply can't with my mindset. So, I think the Wednesday, I don't really watch Wednesday, or I have not watched Wednesday. I know a lot of people do like it, just never really interests me. It just looks creepy and weird. I mean, you could say the same thing about Stranger Things, but I don't know. I think Jenna Ortega is attractive, but that's not really enough to tune me into a show. Maybe I'll watch it eventually, but Okay, so the main thing people were there for was Stranger Things season 5. Like, everyone for months has been talking about, we're getting this first teaser, so hyped. How long is the teaser going to be? What they're going to show in it? Everyone was speculating about this because it's been a while. I mean, the season 4 came out last year. It's been since July of last year. Now that is crazy. Or not last. Sorry, I don't know why I said last year. July of 2022. Almost 3 years ago was when season 4 dropped. That is crazy. Like, I've never known a TV show take that long to release something. Especially, like, it's only 8 episodes, but they're like an hour and a half long each. And the finale is supposed to be like 2.5 hours. So they're all like movies. So I guess it kind of makes sense. And plus the writer's strike really slowed them down the same way that COVID slowed season 4 down. However, they were still able to get season 4 out before or earlier than season 5. Make that make sense to me? I don't know. But yeah, so they released, so they had Noah Schnapp, Caleb Kilpatrick, and Finn Wolfhard. They had all of them there. And they kind of had them have like a little conversation. They played tapes from the past, and then they put in the last tape, which was a teaser for season 5. And unfortunately, not. I don't know why I was surprised. I shouldn't have been. It was mostly season 1 through 4 flashbacks. It showed barely any new footage for season 5. Now, Cobra Kai did that for their final part, but I didn't really care at that point because the season was like a week and a half away, so I just didn't care. I'm a little bit disappointed they didn't show more. I feel like fans have been waiting so long. They deserve to see more than just 10 new shots. Like, really, like, no meat to the story at all. It starts off with a new clip. It's Joyce saying it to Will, I think about that night all the time, the night that changed everything. And then they which is a good transition to thinking about everything that happened seasons 1 through 4. And then they showed several new clips. Interesting clips. It showed Joyce with an axe. I'm just thinking off of memory right here. I don't even have the trailer out in front of me. Joyce with an axe. It showed Karen and Holly like freaking out over something, like holding each other. I don't know what that's about. It showed Lucas and Max in the hospital. I'm curious as to what Max's role is going to be. Like, how involved is she going to be? I feel like for those first few episodes, she can't really be that involved, right? I mean, she's still healing. So I don't know. We'll see. Dustin and Steve looking up at something. 11 and Hopper together in a few shots. So I'm happy to see that. They were separated pretty much all of season 4. I'm looking forward to seeing that father and daughter duo again next season. We see Mike protecting like a group of, I think, Holly's friends. So I kind of wonder, is Holly going to go missing? And that could be like a full circle moment kind of to, Will going missing in the first season. I can maybe see that because we see her friends in several shots. So I feel like that's the only way I could see them being involved is Holly going missing. To me, though, we'll see. And then a few shots of Vecna's power with like breaking a bunch of tiles. And then we have Will screaming "run" twice at like the top of his lungs. And of course, people hate Noah Schnapp because of the whole Zionist Palestine thing. I haven't read too much into that. I'm personally going to put aside the actor. It's like talent from him, his character, or not his character, his persona himself. Like, I'm going to distinguish between the two. I know that's hard for some people to do, but I think he really like nailed it out of the park. Like with that one, like those 2 screams. I think, oh my gosh, like he is a great actor. He's always been a great actor. Always has been. I mean, they haven't given him much to work with season 3 and 4. But even the scene where in the car, I think he did a really good job in, where he breaks down, where we kind of realize he's gay. He's always been a good actor. And I think from what I've seen this season, I feel like he's really going to be the main character. I hope he doesn't die, but I also wouldn't be totally shocked if he did. I mean, it would be like a full circle moment if he died. But I also feel like he deserves a happy ending. Not with Mike, necessarily. I like him and 11 together. But, for him to find his happy ending, I hope he does have that for sure. And at the end of the day, I want to see all these characters have their happy endings. I mean, it would almost be like funny, but really like cool too if it ended with her graduation. Like after everything that they've been through. We've seen like one episode of them in school every season, except for season 3, I think. That was like a summer break. But we've seen like one episode of them in school every season. Season 4 was episode 1, and then they're out for the rest of the season. Yeah. So I would like to see them graduate. I think that would be so satisfying to see for the finale. Now, it's also possible we're going to be dealing with all this mess with Vecna all the way up until the very end. But I would still, even if it's a post-credit scene, I would like to see them graduate. I don't know. I just feel like it's necessary. When it gets closer, I'm going to have more theories set out because they didn't really give us much in this date announcement. But let's talk about the release dates real quick before we move on. So, Volume 1, November 26th at 8 p.m. So this is the night before Thanksgiving. So I don't know. I don't think that's a great time to release personally, only because like, I don't know what people do the night before Thanksgiving. I don't know. I know that here we have a like a food packaging thing for people in need. Like we do that the day before Thanksgiving every year, but that's like during the day. So I probably don't have anything. It's just like, do they expect people to watch the night before and then they discuss it with their family at Thanksgiving dinner? Or they watch it in the background while people are cooking on Thanksgiving Day? That's possible. I don't know. Or they watch it with their family after dinner on Thanksgiving. They're going to be going up against football, so I don't know what they expect there because people are going to have football on over Stranger Things. No doubt in my mind. I'm sure there'll be some people watching Stranger Things, but going up against football is going to be kind of hard because while I don't love watching football, I understand the appeal to it for the most part. At least my family, they love watching football on Thanksgiving and Christmas. So, regardless though, so November 26th at 8 p.m., so the night before Thanksgiving, that's when the first 4 episodes drop. The next 3 episodes drop Christmas Day at 8 p.m. So, so they don't have, so this is probably a little bit better of a release date because it's after, everyone opens presents. They have their whole day to spend with their family. Most families don't really do a Christmas dinner as far as I know. At least we don't. We do like a brunch type thing either before or after we open all of our gifts, usually before. Christmas night, though, I don't know. I don't know if Christmas night's really a good time to release that. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I think it might be a little bit better than Thanksgiving night because usually people don't have anything going on. I know a lot of people travel the day after Christmas, so that maybe I could get them something to watch in their car or something. I don't know. For me personally, I'm sure I'm not going to have a problem watching all these right when they come out because I don't think I'm going to have anything going on the night before Thanksgiving, the night of Christmas, or whatever. I do feel like I'm kind of surprised they didn't release it on Christmas Eve, but maybe they just figured people would be watching Christmas movies or something on Christmas Eve. And probably it's a good thing, too, because we have a Christmas Eve service, and I feel like that would be kind of hard to try to do both, and everyone's going to be tired from Christmas Eve service. They're going to, crash or Christmas movie. They're not going to want to watch Stranger Things. Christmas Day, however, maybe people will be more open to that. So that's when the next 3 episodes drop. Then the finale, comes out New Year's Eve. So this might be their best time to drop because what do people do New Year's Eve? Well, they watch the ball drop, but even then, it comes out at 8 p.m. And if it's a 2.5 hour finale, it's just the finale. That means it would be over by 10:30. People could still go watch the ball drop if they wanted to. So I think that release date works actually the best because people are always home and there's not football going on New Year's Eve at that time. So they're not really competing with anything. So, and maybe they thought by doing it at 8 p.m. they wouldn't be competing with football, but then you're relying on people to watch it like the night before Thanksgiving all at once. I think that's the most questionable Volume 1's release. Volume 2, at least, it's Christmas evening, so people aren't going to be watching football. They might be playing with their gifts. Kids might be playing with their gifts while Stranger Things plays in the background or something. But I think the New Year's Eve release works actually really well because it's going to give people a distraction, and while they would desperately wait for the new year to drop. I mean, that's basically how I see it. My only issue is if someone dies in the finale, like that's gonna be such a sad way to go into the new year with. Like I don't know. That's just me. Like say my favorite, like say Will dies or say Steve dies. Like those are characters I genuinely love. Like I'm not gonna be happy if they kill them off and then I have to go into the new year with like new hope, new goals, new whatever. Like I don't know. That's the only thing. Now if they kill someone off on Christmas, I would also be upset. They're gonna kill people off. Like at least one main character is my guess, maybe two. I don't think they're gonna kill like half the main cast off. I don't think so, but yeah. So looking forward to it, but it's still 6 months away. So when it gets closer and when new trailers drop, I'll speculate and theorize on those. But for now, that's really all I have for Stranger Things. So the last thing I want to talk about is Karate Kid Legends. This came out in the theaters this past weekend. I went with my parents to go see it. So going into this movie, I always start here. How I feel going into it before I talk about it. I thought it looked good. I thought the trailers looked promising. It was like, okay, we're going to get to see the same formula, this kid getting bullied, this new love interest, and then Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan are going to come together. They're going to train this kid for this tournament. That's the plot. It looked good. The trailers look good. And then I watched this movie, and I had seen mixed reviews about it. I didn't read too much into it because I didn't want to get spoiled by anything. So I watched this movie, and it's a 90-minute movie, so it's very fast-paced. They very much rush through a lot of the plot to get to where they went at the end. It starts off with him in China, and his mom gets this job at a hospital in New York, so they move. We see Jackie Chan is his uncle, I guess. Like, they didn't really dive deep into that. He's his uncle, apparently. But they move to New York. He meets this girl named Mia. Her dad owns a pizza shop. So this sets up that plot right away, like his new love interest. But they really hid that plot of him training the dad boxing to get out of this loan shark situation. Like, they did not advertise that in the trailers. Why? Because they knew people would not want to go see a movie about that. Like, they want to see a movie about karate, not about boxing and loan sharks. So I understand that. I understand why people did not like that plot line and that it took up like a good chunk of the movie, like probably half the movie was about this plot line. And then I don't know. So I understand that, but still they misadvertised this movie. They mismarketed it. There's no denying that. But I mean, the cast did a great job in this movie. Ben Wang as Li Fong did a great job in his role. I don't know what his future looks like. I know he's going to be in that Harry Potter show, or either the Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings. I don't remember what he's going to be in, but I know he's going to be in something big. Or was it the Hunger Games? Again, so many of those like shows getting revived. I don't know what he's going to be in, but I think he has a strong future ahead of him. I think he did a really good job in this movie. He's not cocky like Daniel was, or even abrasive like Julie was. He's likable, he's easygoing, he's understandable. Like, you could relate to his character with all the trauma he's been through. And I think he was definitely a highlight of this movie. Sadie Stanley as Mia does a great job too, because she brings like a fun, likable energy. She's not dull. Not saying Allie was dull, but she just wasn't as captivating or interesting. Like, you could relate to Mia more, and you root for Lee and Mia to get together because they write that so well. The funny thing is that they really hid that love story really from the trailers. Like, they didn't show a whole lot of it, and then there's a lot. That's a big part of this movie because he's training her dad. But Joshua Jackson plays Victor. He does a good job. He's like, kind of like corny, cheesy, but you can relate to him. He kind of comes through and, helps Lee out, gives him some good advice, and builds a friendship with him. I like that. Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio. Jackie Chan's very much the comedic relief of this movie, I would say. He kind of lost his edge a bit. Like, he doesn't really have an edge anymore. He's mostly just there just to make you laugh. for this movie, I think that worked out fine because I didn't think we needed another edgy character. We have several of those in this movie. I think Jackie Chan was a highlight though for sure. Ralph Macchio did a good job because he provided that familiarity of the Karate Kid by being in it. I like seeing the Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio banter throughout. I thought that was a lot of fun, and seeing them play off of each other. I just don't. Now that I think about it, though, they marketed this movie as this kid moving from China to New York, meeting this new girl, being caught in a love triangle, being forced to learn karate when he knows kung fu, and being taught by two senseis. That was the plot we were giving with in the trailers, and I was like, okay, I'm down for that. So I thought Ralph Macchio was going to be in a good chunk of this movie. He wasn't. Surprise, surprise. I don't even know why I was surprised. He's in like 30 minutes of it. He still plays a relatively prominent role, though. Like, he's in a decent amount of scenes he's pretty much in all those last 30 minutes. Like, he's not like a quick cameo. Like, he has a decent role in it. I was thinking Jackie Chan, though, especially, was going to have a larger role. Like, I thought he was going to be in most of the movie. I thought he was going to be there the whole time. He wasn't, though. He's kind of in and out. He tries to call Lee several times. He doesn't pick up, though. And then he comes and he, like, fights him in the kitchen. I'm like, what the heck? There was no need to go that far, hitting each other with pots and pans. Like, there were so many fights in this movie. And the fights, though, overall were a bit, like, I think a bit underwhelming, because there was not much of a story behind each fight. I mean, except the boxing match. And then, of course, the ending fight, though, however, had a lot of story behind it and meaning. And the ending fight was definitely my favorite fight of the movie, which I would hope so. You kind of strive for that in your movies and in your fighting action movies or whatever. Yeah, I don't think Ralph Macchio is really necessary for this film. They kind of added in an element of how the two families knew each other. I didn't really think it worked. I think, as much as I think Ralph Macchio is like, he's good as the Karate Kid and you love him, I feel like this movie didn't need him. Jackie Chan could have trained him and it would have been fine. Or at least make Ralph Macchio have a bigger role in the movie and make his character more dragged out instead of feeling rushed in there. Like, he didn't show up until like an hour into the movie. Like, seriously, come on. That's just ridiculous. So yeah, I don't know. Not really a big fan of that. I do feel like this movie, it felt like two plots shoved together. We had the boxing plot line, and then we had the karate training plot line. And then somewhere in there, they had this lazy, weak villain named Connor, who was in a lot of ways like Mike Barnes, except Connor had no chill whatsoever. He was just out of batshit crazy during this movie. Like, he like attacked the ref several times. Like, he didn't even play chill. Like, at least Johnny was somewhat chill. Like, but like Connor just beats him up every time he sees him. Like, there's no chill to it. It's definitely like a cartoonish villain, which in a way Barnes and Silver were kind of that way as well. So it's not completely new for the franchise, but he was an underdeveloped villain. We saw, I mean, this movie is like the montage movie if you had to name one. And I get the Karate Kid movies in general had a lot of montages, but this movie takes the cake with the most montages. There was a ridiculous amount of montages in this movie. Like, there was like 20 montages. They just kept playing and playing and playing, and then they kept showing Lee training back to back with Connor training. And I'm like, we don't know Connor enough, though. He's so underdeveloped as a character. I feel like I don't know. A part of me is like, could they have cut out the plot line of, Ralph Macchio coming to train? They could have. Could they have cut out the plot line of him developing a friendship with Victor and training him to get him out of this loan shark situation? I don't know. I don't know if they could have done that, because I feel like this movie, that was what the plot was going to be. Maybe Jackie Chan was in it, a small part. I don't think Ralph Macchio was originally in this movie until they wanted to get more money. I think that was basically it, because it just feels so, those last 30 minutes just feel so disconnected from the rest of the movie. However, I did like how the plot line with the boxing tied into Lee's trauma. We find out that his brother died during a street fight. He was stabbed. He had to watch his brother die right in front of him. And then this trauma ties in to when Victor gets attacked during the fight, and he almost dies, and then he can't go into the hospital because he has a flashback to when his brother was in the hospital. That trauma comes back. I thought that was a really nice parallel, and it really made us understand Lee more as a character. He has like the most layers out of any Karate Kid. Like, he's definitely the best Karate Kid in my opinion. Because he's likable, he's interesting, he's relatable, he's funny. Like, he definitely checks all the boxes there. Like, you're rooting for him to win this tournament, but also, like, heal from everything he's gone through. So, I think all these elements work really well together. There's just some pacing issues, and I feel like they should have ditched one of the plot lines. Like, I think they just did the boxing plot line, and then the Machu and Chan, like, involvement. Those two things just did not really blend well together, and I think they should have cut out one, or at least structured it better. The other thing that felt underdeveloped was his relationship with his mom. Like, we see they have a bit of a rocky relationship. She doesn't want him to fight, but we don't really know. We know why, because of his brother, but there's just no substance there with him and his mom's relationship. Like, at one point we see that she's smoking or whatever, and then we don't get any more with that. Like, she's just there to reprimand him about fighting, and there's no deep relationship there. They make up at the end, but it feels so rushed. So, personally, I would have liked another 30 minutes of this movie. And if they were going to put both plot lines in, I would have liked to see Ralph Macchio get at least an hour of screen time. Get more to do, not just montages. Get more of Connor, develop his character more. And I get Johnny, and I mean, Chosen was a pretty developed character because we saw what he went through. Johnny was decent. Johnny was a lot like Connor. We didn't know much about him. He was kind of underdeveloped. Mike Barnes was even more underdeveloped. I would have liked to see them fix that issue with Connor, get more screen time with him. So I think Connor, figure out what to do with those two plots, blend them better together, give, at least do half and half instead of 75-25. That's what this movie felt like. Figure all of that out. I think some of the biggest things, and then dive deeper into his relationship with his mom. They didn't touch on the dad. Maybe they didn't need to touch on the dad. Him and his mom, though, they deserved a better plotline, in my opinion. They deserved more screen time. They just simply deserved better. But all in all, though, I like the Johnny cameo at the end. That was so suiting to it. That was so suiting to the show. It fit so well at the end. I'm glad they threw that in. And it made sense why Daniel was in the movie after all. A part of me is like, he was just in this movie to banter with Jackie Chan and to have a scene with Johnny. Which, honestly, there's worse ways to be involved in this movie. All in all, though, it was not a great movie, but it was a good movie. It was entertaining. It was humorous. It had good emotional beats, too. There's some heart to this movie. It's just so fast-paced that it's kind of hard to see the heart when it's just so jarring at times. But, yeah, comment down below what you think of all that I talked about. I'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.